Hello friends, welcome to the next episode of Parenting the Millennials with Dr. Shailaja Shastri. We've been going through multiple episodes till now looking at the context of parenting in the new millennium, and the point of gratification is what we spoke about in the last episode. So Dr. Shailaja Shastri, welcome to the program. While we spoke about delayed gratification, one of the things I was thinking about is when the children are doing something, and we seem to be looking more at the positive aspect. We want them to be only succeeding. So is that something missing? Because if you take a child bringing a report card, for example, you see all the good marks first, but you ignore rather all the good marks, but you tend to focus on what is not there. So is that something which is amiss from the parenting point of view? How would you see this?
I'd like to highlight a couple of points here.
Sure.
One of them is, I think we are more and more training our children to succeed, but we are not training them to fail in life. Because our acknowledgements are only for the successes. We are not acknowledging that effort that is required to achieve success.
Can you explain that further, please?
Let me tell you, when a child gets an A+ or gets a 10 out of 10 GPA, how do we appreciate the child?
I think, we'll put them on a pedestal and say, great work done.
Yes, we are focusing on that A+ or that 10. But what we need to help the child and draw the child's attention is it's that effort that led to that success. When we give a compliment or appreciation to the child, we need to arrange our words and tell the child that, wow, how did you manage to get that A+? Wonderful. What is it that led to that A+? Now you're redirecting the child's thoughts and bringing the child's attention to that hard work and that consistent effort that was put in to achieve that.
Okay.
So
that the pattern can be repeated more for the other aspects as well.
So they understand that it is the effort that is taking them there, and that A+ by itself is not the end point. It is that consistent journey, of effort and that hard work which is taking them to where they need to go. So by doing that, we are highlighting that sometimes you may not get an A+, but reflect on whether you are actually putting that effort. As long as you are putting that effort, you will go to that A+. But by only over focusing on that A+, we are being detrimental to the growth of the child. So one of the things is we need to help them understand failure. It's not that all of us are going to get A+ in every aspect of our life, but we need to be prepared that what do I do when I don't get that A+, when I don't succeed. I always believe that children require us more than ever before when they have not succeeded in life.
Very important point.
That's the time when we need to stand by them. That's the time when we need to show them that, look, I believe you can do it tomorrow. So somewhere we need to train them in coping with failure. That failure is a part of life.
So the impact of such things, is there a drastic impact in your counseling sessions? What is it that you see when we don't do it?
See, when children believe that they cannot fail, they have to succeed always. And as a parent, if I think that my child has to always get an 100 in all the subjects and then be a star in sports, star in everything, it's highly unrealistic. That's not life. Life is never like that. So somewhere we need to make our expectations more realistic. Train children also to be realistic, that it's okay, today it may be a C or it may be a failure, but there is always a tomorrow where I can work on that. And for that we need to focus on the effort. Let me give you an example which I found it very interesting in my counseling, one of the counseling sessions. I had this mother and this child who had come in, and the mother was very worked up about the child getting a 16 out of 20 in a math test. Child was in 4th standard.
16 out of 20?
Yes, 16 out of 20.
And that to 4th standard?
Yeah, a 4th grader. And she was comparing the child's previous performance, telling that he was getting a 20 out of 20 last year, and now he's come down to 16, and it's not good, he's distracted, and there were a lot of issues. The child who was sitting next to the parent, because generally we don't meet the child with the parent when the child is presenting the challenges first. We keep the child away. Somehow in this episode, the child happened to be there, and the child said something brilliant. The child told the mother, "Why are you focusing on that 4 marks that I didn't get? Why don't you focus on the 16 that I have got?" So I think somewhere we need to change our way of looking at things. Yes, they have lost 4 marks, they have lost 10 marks, they have lost 50 marks. Rather than focusing on why they lost it, focus on how they lost it. So let them analyze the errors. Let them, you talk to them and you ask, okay, that's
dissect
interesting.
the whole journey rather than the end goal itself.
Yeah, the marks itself, the end product, but dissect the journey. How did you manage? You got 50, good. Where did the other 50 go? Let's look at it. Why did you lose that, or where did you lose that? When you discuss that, the child will tell, yes, maybe I put in too much of time, I wasted too much of time attempting this, or maybe I got a little tired and I was lost my concentration. So you can then refocus. Okay, so staying focused is more important, and when you are staying focused, you get that marks. So dissecting the journey and the effort is much more important than the end point itself.
Somewhere we seem to beat the child down and probably ourselves based on the comparison and expectation, etc. Yeah. So 2 things. One is, why do parents do that in terms of only look at the numbers? Because is it because they themselves are under pressure and the world is probably imposing, feeling that that world is imposing on them? Would that be the reason?
Yeah, there's a lot of failure associated with parenting. I look at myself as a failure if my child doesn't do X, Y, or Z, or people call me a failure because my child has not done X, Y, or Z. So there are certain societal standards.
The society pressure is somewhere.
Society pressures are there, but my child is my child. I know what are the strengths of the child and what my child can do, not do. Somewhere, I think also we have a dream child concept.
Oh, okay.
We have this dream child concept that, yes, and or a trophy child concept.
Trophy child, I like that. Okay.
Is good in this and this and this.
Need to be there.
Yes, it's not about the child. It's about my achievement as a parent. I think somewhere we need to tone this down. My child is my child, and the
more precious than the numbers that they get.
I'd like to bring one more point here. Somewhere we need to segregate the deed from the doer.
Interesting. I think you need to.
When my child has not got an A+ or has failed or not done something in the right way, I condemn that action, but I am not condemning my child, but the person. It's an action that I do not like, but I still love my child.
Very
what
good.
we do most often is we bind
these two together.
My love to the child's achievements. I love my child and I talk more about my child the day my child has achieved.
And not so much when then something
I'm
happens.
quite silent, or I tell my child, I'm not going to talk to you because you have not done this. Now that's very, very upsetting for the child.
I know the self-confidence, it's more personal, it becomes more personal.
So I come back to my point. The day my child has not achieved, that day my child requires me more than ever before. That day I need to be with the child.
That's a very interesting paradigm shift that we as parents should have. Yeah, very good. The second part of that question also is the impact of this. Yeah, child needs it, but if you are not there for the child at that time, the consequence seems to be very tremendous. It can go the negative or this probably too bad as well. So have you had instances, or have you seen children moving towards the end of the spectrum where they lose hope, and does it happen?
Yes. One of the reasons of suicidal ideation or attempt at suicides is that they feel there is nobody for them, and they feel that they have let down their parents, because somewhere they know, they have internalized that I need to give this to my parents want this, and they have internalized these expectations, right or wrong. I'm not commenting on that, but then when they feel that I've let down and I can't talk openly about this, and I've let down my parents and I can't talk about my failures to parents, that's the time when they feel intensely lonely. And that intense lonely feelings
Nudge them.
Yeah, nudge them too. So somewhere I think we need to be askable parents, where they need to be
come back and
yes,
ask
come
you.
back. We need to create that space where if I fail, if I have not done, things have not gone right for me, then there is two people on this planet who can help me out or will be there for me, definitely, are my parents. So if that message goes out to them, then they know to handle difficult moments in life, failures in life with greater dignity, greater competence, greater confidence.
Great. Thank you very much, Dr. Shailaja Shastri. There you go, friends. Now, how you perceive your child and look at the child from a different filter altogether. And a paradigm shift needs to happen. Let the child approach you when when they need the most. So that's it from us now for this episode. We hope you are enjoying this episode. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. See you next time.